again, or we'll have to see whether or not that's the shift that they want, or if it will just be Oscar Morana. I was worried that they were going to pick Veno for a second, but Veno got changed slightly. I think Veno got slightly buffed, which is funny to say because Veno is just always a hero you never want to see receive too many advantages. I think, yeah, Venomous Gale got a lot of mana knocked off of it at early levels. So if you love being covered in Venomous Gale, then this is the patch for you. But at the same time, Mirana was completely unchanged. She received no buffs, no nerfs. She is the exact same hero as she was in 732B. And Nature's Prophet, okay, a little bit more active. I think a style that 5ManMidas will be a little bit happier to play. Some counterplay as well, because you can just throw your Nature's Prophet into a team fight and then Dawnbreaker ulti on top of it. But again, we need that hero that just rolls in, goes in, and now that we have the NP only goes to one position more or less at this point. We've seen a few offlane Nature's Prophets, but does not feel that great. And with the Tidehunter, certainly not going to be your offlaner now. But this is a little weird. I feel like right now for 5ManMidas, they can't exactly put the Dawnbreaker mid just yet because they don't know what KXY is going to pick. But then you have a Dawnbreaker Tide lane? Okay. Different. Very different.
Ooh.
And there's your Timbersaw. So, we got some problems.
Oh, man, I do not know what the plan is for 5ManMidas. It's going to be interesting regardless of what they choose, but your guess is as good as mine at this stage. Not really sure what the plan's going to be. The Nature's Prophet moves, the Dawnbreaker moves. I mean, we had times in the past ET where both heroes were technically played at the 5, just not particularly well in most circumstances, so that's what they're looking at now. I'm not really sure what they expect to get out of it, but will remain a mystery for the time being as we get into the final phase of the bans. Monkey King removed by 5ManMidas because they know SG at this point, they do need a carry because the Tiny is not going to be that. You just can't play carry Tiny anymore.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You have to ban, I think, both Ursa and Monkey King out if you are going to flex this Tidehunter into the offlane role, and we'll see if that's the next choice for them. But yeah, it's a bit peculiar, but that's where we'll also have to see, I think, what you go for, because right now, Yuma has a treasure trove of hero picks. I like that they aren't going for the Morphling again, and yeah, there's the Ursa ban. Makes a whole lot of sense, but anybody that goes late, buys a BKB, gets a Scotty, or even a Silver Edge is going to feel super nice. I almost want them to go for a hero like PA, which again is a little bit slower, but got some buffs, and 732C might be enough to entice Yuma, as well as, of course, you've got the Ag Shard to play versus Tidehunter, where your hero naturally gets a break eventually, and a pretty cheap break as well. I think every other hero having to get Silver Edge and PA just gets an Ag Shard is a little unfair, but what can you do? 5ManMidas, though, it's really difficult to tell what they want next. It feels like they do have a whole lot of flexibility in their lineup, and they will be able to shift things around based on what SG go for to counterpick them, but I don't know. It's really hard to tell what they need. And they
Okay.
go for the basic hero, Zeus, the hero that, again, we talked about in the break, received no changes. It is still Zeus. It is just Zeus, Zeus, Zeus. You get Arc Lightning, you draw the mid lane, you farm. It's Zeus versus Tiny as well, which is a matchup that is incredibly hard for both mid laners to die in. Simply, Tiny has too much HP, and Zeus should never die because Heavenly Jump actually gets cast off in the intervals of Avalanche, which is pretty wild, but, that's just how that matchup goes, ending up in both mid laners being very farmed. But now, well, Yuma, do you want to play a squishy hero into Zeus? That's the question.
Oh.
And they counterpick the Zeus super hard with Spectre. Throw away the lane a little bit, for sure. That is going to be a much more passive lane as we see what 5ManMidas actually slot up here.
Yeah,
But
who's
Moonlight
taking
on the
what?
Dawnbreaker already. I can only imagine that now it's just going to be offlane tied with a 4 Dawnbreaker, which, again, feels a little bit weird. Throws away that balance that we like to talk about typically in Dota. But that lane is going to be a lot easier. That's not that counter that I was thinking about for SG. So we'll have to see how pressured Yuma actually gets up here. But you are Spectre carry in a game versus both Nature's Prophet and Zeus cores. You can't really ask for a better Spectre game.
He's going to be able to get onto who he wants when he wants, and those heroes aren't exactly the most durable in the world unless Tidehunter's babysitting them, and if he is, then I don't know what 5ManMidas are doing at that point if your Tide's just following around the other cores, but we shall see. Technically, there we go. We hadn't quite seen everyone pick, so there was still some chance for some unbelievably weird switch up, but no. It's going to be 2 Zeus, it's going to be 3 Tide. Feeling's going to take the bane. So no funny business there, but ET, I don't know. I said before the draft started, if you're 5ManMidas, maybe you do just want to try something different. This is different. I just don't know if it's better.
Yeah, and we'll see if it plays better. I think 5ManMidas didn't get to do a whole lot of playing because, again, it was a super low kill game. They just
True.
never got to really hammer together a team fight. And that's something that they kind of have here. And you have that mental image, I think, for 5ManMidas where you get Ravage off, you get the Dawnbreaker coming in, the grip lands on the Timber Saw that's too far forward, nobody can break it. There's a lot of tools that they have. It's just whether or not they're cohesive enough and whether they really mesh together is going to be kind of the question of the game here. And if they can play up tempo, they've got a Nature's Prophet. They get a lot of those buildings earlier on than you really realistically would get with any other carry. It's just a matter of whether they can kind of bring the play up to snuff here against SG. Because SG, they have that lineup where if the game draws out just a little bit too long, and in a very similar fashion to the Nature's Prophet carry we've seen before, it becomes an unmanageable carry situation where the Spectre does just beat you eventually. But that's where 5ManMidas really just have to play on every item timing, every Ravage, anytime they have their abilities together. And then they can probably do a good bit of damage, but it's just one of those lineups where they can make so few mistakes, where SG is the exact opposite. They can make a ton of mistakes. It's one of those simple cases where SG need to win 2 team fights and they win the game outright. 5ManMidas need to win 15 just so they can have that 50-50 chance coming to the mid game.
Can't let opportunities pass you by, and then you have to actually connect in those relatively narrow windows. So we'll see if 5ManMidas can do it. They have struggled to this point, but hey, every losing streak's got to come to an end eventually. 5ManMidas hoping that this first game of 7.32C will be that game for them. But SG, I mean, they got to be feeling pretty damn good, ET, right? They've won, 3 straight games now over the past couple of days, I think. I don't remember if they won game 1 or game 2 of their 1-1 split before that. So the winning streak might be 4 games right now, technically, but the numbers don't matter. The point is the confidence and the momentum and this immediate gank onto Argius, who never saw it coming.
Yeah. So benign as well. And you see two words placed just to make sure SG weren't going to get immediately turned on there by what could be some very scary level 1 heroes, especially the Tide. But nope. He's just alone. Just traveled a little bit too close to the sun. Hey, he got 5 stick charges for his trouble. But, yeah. Not the way they wanted to maybe start this game off. But who cares? Get that out of your head. We've got a long laning stage ahead of us here.
I can't really let that one stick in your mind too much at this point if you're 5ManMidas. Got to bounce back, as we do see a fight for the runes. Relatively even. Relatively. It's exactly even. It's a 2-2 split, but Moonlight is going to sort of cop a little bit of extra damage here, although he realizes, hey, Prada hit me with Arctic Burn. That means he's got nothing left. Turns around, gets a couple hacks in with the hammer, not skilling anything up. Never mind, there's the Starbreaker. So he really is going to do a lot of damage. This isn't going to be a kill, but Prada's just going to really get punished.
Yeah, no. Nice start, as well as if you can bully Prada off the small camp for a while, it's going to feel pretty nice. It's where Yuma will always want to take those creep waves underneath the tower, because, of course, very little kill potential in this lane. You are tied versus Spectre. You should just farm here. But Moonlight's doing a pretty fine job.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to scout out that ward just because of that move, though. That was a little bit too fast, I think, to react, but we'll have to see if Prada just ends up saving it. Oh, God, Prada.
Prada?
The pathing, not doing him any favors, but Moonlight also can't cop too many tower shots. That's the danger zone.
Lies, I think he was trying to get in position. A level 1 Anchor Smash might have been enough to help, but I think kind of messes with both sides of that equation. But if your Lies also, is it enough to get the kill? Maybe, maybe not. And if you use it, then you don't have it to spam out onto this Spectre, because Anchor Smash makes last hitting not fun for anybody, really, but the Spectre in particular.
Yeah, and Moonlight, nice little half pull. Has to use the Arctic Burn to try and re-aggro the creeps. And very nicely played by Prada there. Super simple play, but doesn't allow that lane to move back. And now, I think the reason they also don't go for it is because you don't want to fall into the trap of using too many level 1 spells, especially because you are Dawnbreaker. Now that you're level 2, you have that much greater kill potential. But Again, with the wave so far up and getting nuked in by the Tidehunter, the pull eventually happens, and you find out you don't have a small camp. Nice D-word, though. Got it just in time for his small camp to actually spawn, but the pull's already gone.
No opportunity there. Meanwhile, shift our focus over to the other side lane here. Oscar and LTH going up against Argus and Feeling, and this is where this lane gets a little bit funky. Directly, Timber and Mirana really don't do much in the way of synergy, but if you're LTH, well, you shove off from the lane pretty frequently. You can still get some money and experience by arrowing some of those creeps, and at a certain point, in this lane in particular, Oscar's going to be tanky enough to just kind of stand his ground, so maybe LTH just waiting for his opportunity to rotate out and try to make plays elsewhere.
Yeah, it's also a lane that LTH really can't do that much in, because anytime you go for an arrow onto the ranged creep, of course, you put the treants in front, and you do not want to treant for your arrow. It's where already LTH has made a rotation to stack the triangle just a little bit, so that way he can actually make that arrow play happen. And then you just explode in levels. And once Oscar hits level 6, then it's time for everybody to pretty much vacate this lane. Nobody can really stand up versus the Timbersaw once that's online, which is unfortunate to say, because right now, no harass is sticking, no damages either. Oscar just has a pretty free time right now.
Yeah, he's got the second point up in the reactive armor. He went, grabbed himself now a third ring. All of them are different, but the point remains. He has regen and he's got armor, so really nothing they can do to get in onto him. Feeling, I guess, could try with the brain saps, but the mana cost isn't worth it when he can just eat the aggro from a creep wave and just get all that health back.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those changes where I think maybe with the new reactive armor and the way that you have to kind of maintain stacks a little bit harder, that hero can feel a little bit more inconsistent whenever it comes to rotating in and out of lanes. But with the way that he's just anchoring down, he just constantly has 6 or 7 units hitting him all the time. So it's very easy to keep yourself at that high HP, high armor threshold. Not the best trade. And then he has to run away. Got the stack as well. Arrow doesn't land either.
Yeah, that might have been a kill if he connects, but as it stands, he's going to be okay. Falls back. They still haven't dealt with this ward, actually. That was placed all the way back on that initial first blood push, but whatever. It's not really doing too much vision-wise. In the meantime, Prada does get himself caught out here pretty far behind his own lines. Moonlight was just kind of hunting for him, and there's the first kill to the 5ManMidas side. And if Moonlight can start making some plays like that, both in his lane and maybe off of a rotation as well, then this is going to feel a little bit better. The problem is, well, can he actually make those rotations? He's trying to make his way mid right now. Oh. There's a Nature's Prophet TP that was faked out mid. Thought for a moment they were going to try into KXY, but they won't go all the way in for that. So, no TP there, but what's going on down bot? Because Argus is getting a little bit pressured up. Oscar playing pretty far forward, so this is a little bit of what we were mentioning. LTH stepping out of lane. I thought Oscar was maybe going to try and step back and play it safe. Instead, he pushes forward aggressively, and it accomplishes the same thing, right? He can hold his own. No one's going to be able to really pressure him up, while his support just gets to handle business elsewhere.
Yeah, and right now he's just purely sitting and waiting for either the mid-toss, and the mid-toss will happen. Unfortunately, RL just has too many creeps, so you can't really arrow through them, but that's where the Mirana is fine as long as his Timbersaw is fine. And honestly, Oscar, with the way his creeps are set up as well, he's got a flag bearer. He had 3 range creeps before. You can't really trade with the Timbersaw with that many creeps inside of you. But also top lane, looks like they're gonna get Moonlight. Oh, and the arrow. Oh, if the creep wave wasn't there. So close.
There we go. They do finish the kill on the Moonlight, and as you said, that arrow, if it hits Lies, that's another kill, but the creep wave comes just in time. Lies is still getting pushed back a little bit here. There's going to be a Splinter Blast coming in, and
very greedy.
He can die. Wow.
Oh, no. And now, well, the creep wave's going to push in, and you need to hope that somebody can get up in here and get all that XP, and it will be sweet, sweet XP for Moonlight, but unfortunately, that's all XP that is not going to your Tidehunter.
Tide just, I guess, forgetting about the Splinter Blast, or maybe thinking the creep was going to die before the Wyvern would have the chance to bounce it into him, but, well, it's an incorrect assumption at the end of the day, and it cost him his life. 3-1 in SG's favor, but look at Moonlight. Look at him just bully Yuma right now. Not really caring too much, although now maybe he should care a little bit more, but no. They're going to continue trying to chase for this kill. There are some stick charges up on the Spectre, though, so not going to be able to finish that off, but it's a very aggressive play. Speaking of aggression, LTH, well, trying to sneak into position here around that tier 1 tower, but RRL catches him and going to be able to find themselves a bit of a
Oh, wait.
freebie there.
Oh, RL, you would have killed top. If you just used the Thunder God's Wrath, that would have been a death onto Yuma. I don't think either side really realizing how low the Spectre was, but I know it's funny because the caster realized it first, but yeah, that would have just been a dead Spectre. It's where you just Zeus ult now. Oh boy.
Well, oh well, I think he was distracted by the fight against LTH, and it's a bit unfortunate because if he hadn't found that kill as quickly or easily, yeah, then you use Thunder God's Wrath and you end up with 2 instead of 1, but there you go. It was a tactical death from LTH. He knows I need to die so quickly that he doesn't ult to kill my Spectre too. It's the 1000 IQ play, as this plays a little
Oh, in
less
top.
high IQ.
There it
There's the
is.
ult. It doesn't take Yuma down this time though. Does secure a kill onto Prada.
Yeah, and as is important with these global mid heroes, you do need to get the last hit. It's where you get the XP and the gold, even though you're eons away. It just ends up
Oh,
working out for you. And Haunt, okay. Oh my goodness,
jumped
so much
straight
damage.
onto Lies with KXY there to help out. They just blow him up, and that is a bit of an early haunt. Really, just the second that he had it, but it works. It gets him a kill. That's what haunt is for. And Yuma now sits at 3-0-2. He's gonna have to cool it for a little bit while it cools down, but it gets him into a position to continue farming the lane. And meanwhile, Oscar, Jesus, this lane has gone so well for him. The tier 1 tower's gone, and he is dancing around feeling on the tier 2.
Yeah, and this is just a miserable position to be in because all you can do is kind of just hide. And oh no, KXY just killed the Zeus, but it's also where Oscar is still just hamming it up here, and he knows Feeling
That's a
doesn't have
Ravage
enough
up
mana.
top. Oh my god, Lies. Okay. Ravages to get Prada. That's a nice little trade-off for them. The problem is Yuma was then able to finish off Moonlight, and as you said, down in the bottom lane, Oscar just gets the solo job on to the Bane. So 5ManMidas are taking some trades, but they're not trades that they're winning right now.
Yeah, and Oscar, the only reason he's doing this is to force somebody to TP bottom, and eventually he does get Argus, who actually ends up cutting the creep wave, which is really the only play that Nature's Prophet could go for, but they need to do anything to try and stop Oscar. This is that perfect Timbersaw game we usually talk about, where in this position, Oscar can just win the game for his team. It's where Deathless Timbersaw is something you actually need to be terrified of right now.
And then you look over to KXY as he found that kill in the middle lane. Blink Dagger is just about done, so Oscar entirely dominated his lane. He might start moving soon. Tiny with the Blink Dagger is going to start moving soon. You're going to have the Haunt back up in a little over a minute. 5ManMidas are going to have a lot of heat coming their way. The heat that they are really, truly not ready for with their lineup at the moment. LTH loses the fight for the rune. Takes some damage there from the Nightmare as well, but it's just going to fall back. It is a bit unfortunate for the Mirana. LTH hasn't really been able to find a crazy amount of farm for himself, but 2 kills, 2 assists, still has him as the top net worth support in this game, so he's going to be feeling just fine. Moonlight, though, not feeling quite as fine. And at this point, yeah, he has to run, because the Tide does not have Ravage back up. He's going to try and pig pull himself. Arrow all the way into the pit, connects. Yuma gets a freebie with the Spectral Dagger, and it's a nice attempt from Moonlight. He just didn't know the arrow was coming.
Yeah, just unfortunate, but that's where the misfortune is kind of continuing here. They're losing a lot of net worth. They're losing out on a lot of farm. Tossback doesn't work on the Zeus mid. That feels quite nice, and okay, maybe. Oh, just barely isn't able to get the Arc Lightning on LTH, but that was their double global ultimate combo that unfortunately is now going to be on CD for a while, and oh, whoa, no.
Tossback. The arrow, it
Oscar's
does stun
here.
on Moonlight, but RRL's going to be able to find a kill first, but can he get away? TP. They have no way of canceling it. KXY actually had to fall back because Moonlight was hitting him up a little bit too hard. So all things considered, well, okay, I was going to say that's a pretty solid play from them, but if they lose Moonlight, it gets a little bit less solid. Moonlight, though, is actually saved by the defensive Nightmare. No, he's not. KXY throws a level 1 tree at him. That will finish the job, and now Feeling might actually be in some danger here. Look at Oscar just chasing onto the tower. The Avalanche will come through in the end. KXY goes from nearly dying to picking up a double kill.
Yeah, the Timber is still very, very big problem. Can't really do much versus him except for what RL is trying, and
Hmm.
Oscar's kind of strapped for mana right now, but you just heavily oh no.
Thought KXY had fallen back. That was incorrect, as the triple kill now goes the Tiny's way, and, well, that is very unfortunate. In the meantime, Argius TPs himself top. Don't know if they know Prada's here. They could at least try for the tower, but Prada's got ult. Yeah, there it is. Here come the TPs as well. KXY wants in. DD Rune's still going. There's going to be the toss into the Ava. Argius dead. Lies is a very, very slow, whatever the hell Tidehunter is, Cthulhu monster, but either way, he's going to get taken down. KXY finds both kills again. 6-0 in the blink of an eye, ET.
Yeah, just gets the DD run, has enough damage for everything. He's out of mana now, so he finally has to maybe peel back in a region with the bounty rune. But yeah, perfect Tiny game, perfect Timbersaw game so far. And that was also Orchid reveal on Argius. He had attempted to go into Yuma bottom, but just doesn't have enough damage. It's where this next batch of ultimates all need to connect. They just got Fiend's Grip as well in the mid lane. You smoke up, you use absolutely everything, and then you hope you get a kill before it's too late here. No more room for error.
Yeah, what did we say at the start of the game, right? They couldn't pass up any opportunities, and they had to hit on those plays. 13 minutes in, they're down 5-14. So they haven't exactly been hitting in the way that we say that they need to, but there's still time, right? As you say, group up, take a fight, catch, at this point, any of those cores, and you have a little window to maybe chip away at this deficit, but they've got to get something. They can't just do what they're kind of doing now, where they're just attempting to outfarm this opposing lineup, because that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just ending into that farm war where you've got a Spectre, you've got a Nature's Prophet. It's not
Prada's
really
getting
going to end
away.
up being a win, and yeah, now they're overextended, and even though they've got the global ultis flying, you might be able to get Prada in. Oh, he's going to be able to walk it out.
Oh, disaster. Just get out while you can. Liza's going to make it, but on the other side of the map, Argius does not. They catch him, they catch Moonlight. Oh, man. They don't even get Prada. I mean, that's probably the easiest kill on the map for them to find, and they just can't find it.
Yeah, they try to clown on Yuma as well. They try to get that kill using the ward that they had placed a little bit earlier, but then you look at Feeling and you just see that he was unable to really make anything happen. Now he's trying to make a play on the Oscar, and Oscar's already got 9 stacks. It's where you just don't have enough damage, and unfortunately, there's not really a combo play you can make with the Tidehunter. The Tidehunter without Ravage as well. And, well, that's another kill for KXY, most likely.
Here he comes. Looking for the... Oh, wait. The Nightmare was actually still going. Okay. That was a bit of a weird one, but Oscar will still find the kill. Now they haunt their way up top, because Argius just tried to go for a solo kill. Okay, he will get it, but it's going to come at a cost. Maybe not. Can he TP out? No, he can, and now Moonlight, welcome to the fight. You're immediately dead. Not where he wanted to be after all, and that's just another rough play in ET. They needed to group up. They needed to use all their ults together. They needed to hit a singular target and find the kill. Instead, we saw 3 different fights. Everyone used their ults separately and independently of each other, and they get nothing.
No, it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances, and now going forward, well, really the only thing you have going for you is that Aura is very farmed on the Zeus, but, well, TP's come in. This is pretty much just a solo kill. Prada's going to be there to get that slow up after the Heavenly Jump. And, well, if your most farmed hero is just dying on the other side of the river, it doesn't even feel like he's the most farmed, but you need to get something out of your heroes at this point. And I don't want to say we're going to fall into that same trap that 5ManMidas keep on going into where, oh, well, they just have to wait for all their BKBs, because BKBs don't win them this game. They don't get to do it. The initiation from SG is instant. You aren't going to BKB off Avatos. That's just not how that works. And again, the play's being made. Grip bottom, though. They don't know about all these heroes, but Oscar's coming to fix it.
But they did miss with the arrow as well, and yeah, Yuma could be punished here. Can they finish him off? They are all chasing him down, but there's KXY in to save the day. The Thunder God's Wrath doesn't finish Yuma. How can you miss by this slim of a margin, like 10 times in a row? It's just painful. Oh, boy.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And of course, just all of the ultimates on SG get used, and, well, it pans out, and it doesn't even feel like they've used that much. It's just not being able to get these kills very cleanly because they are just at that much of a deficit and trying to hammer together these plays, even though these heroes just don't feel like they work well together. Just doesn't feel like they're able to make those same plays happen. And sure, it's not immediate building damage, it's just pickoffs, but you get to retreat into your base, you get more farming time for Yuma, you get to play slower and slower, and once this game grinds into a halt, you're gonna run out of any initiative here. And poor Tide Hunter, Timbersaw.
And they stole most of his stack as well. And you know, it's times like this, as I'll get to that point in a second, because RRL's being hunted in the trees, no more trees to hide in. Oscar's going to take him down, but you look to a guy like KXY. Listen, I'm not going to dance around this. KXY has some serious attitude issues that need to be addressed. Part of the reason why he's just kind of still a kid, but, you know, needs a little bit more of a maturity, as we've seen in the past. But you cannot forget how just unbelievably talented this guy is, right? He's 9-0-8 on this Tiny. He's just dominating the game, and he's pretty goddamn good, ET.
I'll have you know, every NA player just groaned. They all just said,
That's why I started it with the my guy needs he needs the maturity to come along here, because yeah, everybody's got a story about KXY from their pubs, and they're not good stories, guys, but the talent's there.
Yeah, man. Also, I meant to bring it up before, but we have flatlined. It is a 98% win probability. The game does not believe in 5ManMidas anymore, unfortunately, as everything just falls apart. Slow kill top for Yuma. Orchid comes through, but guess what? He's got a Mantha. And more. And more.
Oh, God. RRL
and they're going to dive
down.
tier 3s for this. Tier 4s even.
Yeah,
I don't
not?
think...
Look at the body blocks even coming in. He's going to ravage defensively, but the avalanche comes out first. 5ManMidas.
Flatlined.
Yeah. It's
And looking at it, okay, now we're at 98%. The game is hard. Game certainly is hard, RRL.
Man. I mean, listen, it's been rough for 5ManMidas, but this is, I think this is the worst that it's ever been. In all their other series, there was at least some hope. This is just looking like they're just not GGing at this point out of spite, as Moonlight not going to die just yet. He'll pick pull himself away, but there's an avalanche, and yeah. Not going to be able to get himself out of that one. Well, 31 kills in just under 20 minutes, and I don't know.
5Man only have 1% left.
Oh, God. Ooh.
It hasn't given up just yet, and that's unfortunate. I hope that's just a crash. You know, this feels like the type of disconnect into just a GG, but yeah. I don't know. Everything just got counterpicked. And of course, you lost game 1 when you had last pick. As we keep on seeing with these best of 2s, game 2 with second pick versus the team that already feels like they've got the advantage coming into the matchup. It's that really rough game 2 that you kind of expect, you kind of see it coming, but I don't know. 5ManMidas' drafts have just not been coming together this tournament. It's rough. Don't even get a reason for the DC just yet, but yeah. I don't know, it's just one of those games that you can talk about theory as much as you want, but there really isn't that much of a light at the end of the tunnel. It's where SG need to make a drastic mistake. Otherwise, if they keep on this same linear path, they will just win in probably 10 minutes at max, probably 5 or 6 minutes at the worst for 5Man.
And yeah, that's the thing if you're looking at the 5ManMidas side, right? Taking it out of just this series and looking at their performances as a whole, they've tried to slow it down. Hasn't worked. They've tried going up tempo. It hasn't worked. They've tried going all in on their lanes. They still lose. They focus on team fight in a different draft, and they lose. Like, they've tried just about every general kind of draft strategy out there, and it's not working because the execution's just been kind of failing them as well. Even in situations where they do put together a good draft, they're not able to follow it up, and then you have a game like this where I think they created some problems for themselves even before they got into the game itself with the heroes that they picked, but this is it can't get worse, I guess, right? You get blown out here, you're still winless, so theoretically speaking, ET, there's nowhere to go but up.
Theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically. In reality, things could probably still get worse, but good news at least. Feeling is back. The game will be resumed, and, well, we'll see if your timer is on the, excuse me, on the mark, ET, because there's the Aegis into their hands. This could just be the sort of death push to finish things off.
Yeah, and with that, I think you've also got an Item Scepter right in queue for Yuma. You'll have that pretty darn soon, but all you can do if you are 5-man Mice in this situation is, again, hope for a smoke play, hope for... Oh, well, there's
Uh,
Solar Guardian.
huh.
Whoops. Think he was instead probably just clicking his TP. Wonder if that's one of those situations where his TP is bound to alt R. I know a lot of players
Oh,
have alt R
God.
as their TPs,
No,
but
no, no, no.
hey, Thompson does it.
Hobson does a lot of things that other Dota players should not do.
True.
That is not an excuse.
I mean,
Uh,
Thompson also blew my mind because you'd think he's a micro god, but he doesn't use control groups because every Dota player's got to have a little bit of weirdness, but also lies. You have no HP. You're sitting at
it's a nice
400.
nightmare, though.
Yeah, feeling.
Saves his teammate. I think, yeah, that's what that was. It was the tendril of the deep that came out there, the little mini ravage. So, well, to be honest, that might have been one of the best executed plays we've seen from 5ManMidas in this game, which I know kind of sounds like a flame. It's not meant to be. That was well done to keep a hero
Ooh.
alive, but they need more than
Ooh.
just nifty defensive plays, because ET, uh, you know, spin me a narrative here. If 5ManMidas are going to mount a comeback, how's it going to happen? Not
Yeah.
like this. Okay.
With a lot of time, because, yeah, the Tree Volley being online basically means that the Tiny can solo kill anyone, except for Zeus, who, funnily enough, can just stop that channel immediately with the Lightning Bolt and then hop out of it. But that being said, if he does get Avatos, there is still just immediate death awaiting you, and that's a heck of a curse, as the Tiny and the Timbersaw, they come from their side lane adventures to then kill up everybody in the mid lane, and Feeling even stops to type GG. He knows.
He
And,
gets the
well,
GG before everyone DCs. Lies gets finished off just to pad the stats.
and that was about 3 minutes, so even faster than I had expected, but kind of makes sense. You just lose in each side lane, they TP out, they TP, or rather just walk back mid. Yeah, GG's come through. Tough game, tough series. Already got to see a little bit of a shift up, at least in the bans, which is kind of cool, coming in 732C, but already just not a very competitive match as 5ManMidas' struggles continue to show, where SG put them in themselves in a pretty comfy seat now in the next few days, coming in as what could likely be one of our upper bracket teams.
Those 2 points, looking over at the standings, I believe moves them up to 3rd place now. So, as you say, a chance at an upper bracket slot. Obviously, still some games left to play, but you want to be up in that upper section as early as possible so that you can have more wiggle room in case things do go wrong, as they have gone wrong repeatedly for 5ManMidas. As we take a look at the stats at the end of this one, and well, ET, take your pick, because it's kind of disappointing no matter where you look.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I was just having fun in the game looking at the win probability because it was just almost, oh, we're there. We've flatlined. It's it's too impossible at this point. But I think also just goes to show that right now 5ManMidas' drafts are just simply not up to snuff. I feel like that's the point where maybe it's time to just copy another team. Maybe if these ideas are not panning out for yourself, if the players aren't working, if things aren't clicking, maybe it's just time to completely uproot and change everything, because I don't know. They've got to do something incredible to not be the one team that gets eliminated at this point, because really the heroics are there. You also don't want to be the team that goes 0-16. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a story nobody ever wants to tell. There have been a good few 0-16s, though, in recent Dota time. I can think of at least 3 or 4 that have happened in the past year, but again, you never want to be that team. I mean, one of those teams is actually SG Esports, so we're not going to talk about that, though.
Yeah, ask SG how that feels. Ask Alliance how that feels. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for your fans. So, 5ManMidas, they'll have a couple more opportunities, and at this point, listen, they're not dead in the water. They're only 2 wins behind the team above them. So all it takes is one good day, and you're looking good. But at this point, just get 1 win, just one. I don't care what you have to do it. I don't care what pocket strat you got to throw out. Some Huskar techies, who cares? Get 1 win, and then you can focus on something else.
Yeah, but that's where more series today, a lot more series today. Felt versus Wolf team though should be interesting. And again, middle of the road, middle of the pack. It's where one of these teams would really like the 2-0. They don't want that 1-1 split where neither of them really move any position. And we could see, I think, Felt especially gain a lot of ground here.
And I do want to mention before we hop to that break, Felt is that team, the one that's only 2 points ahead of 5ManMidas. That is Felt right now at 2-4. So even 1 point here is going to widen that gap a little bit. Of course, as you say, they'd love the 2-0 just to actually be in a more competitive position. But looking at the trajectory of 5ManMidas, any points will make Felt feel more safe. So we'll see what they have in store against Wolf Team. That one is going to be coming your way in just a little bit here. So we are going to step away, play some ads for you. I know you all love them so much. And we'll be back for that second best of two. So stick around.